It was a warm Friday evening in downtown Charleston, and the local bar was buzzing with conversation, laughter, and the clinking of glasses. Marcus Thompson, a black man in his late 40s and a decorated military veteran, sat at the corner table nursing a drink, quietly observing the room. His posture was relaxed yet composed, a reflection of years of service and discipline. Marcus had recently retired from the armed forces and had become deeply involved in community initiatives, mentoring young veterans and engaging in civic leadership. He preferred to enjoy evenings quietly, watching the dynamics of daily life, yet carrying with him the aura of authority earned through experience. As Marcus sipped his drink, a man at the bar, a middle-aged white patron named Doug Reynolds, noticed him and smirked. "Look at this guy, all suited up like he's some big deal," Doug said loudly to his friends, his voice dripping with condescension. "I don't get why anyone would make a fuss over a retired soldier. Thinks he's better than everyone else." The words, meant to provoke, hung in the air. Marcus, sensing the disrespect but remaining calm, kept his gaze forward, his expression neutral, fingers loosely wrapped around his glass. He had long learned that confrontation rarely solved anything, especially with people blinded by arrogance or ignorance. Doug, encouraged by his friend's laughter, leaned closer and added, "Hey, don't get all high and mighty with me, soldier. You're just another guy at the bar like the rest of us." Marcus finally turned to look at him, calm but piercing, his eyes holding the weight of authority, experience, and years of training that extended far beyond the walls of the bar. Without raising his voice, Marcus replied, "I suggest you watch your tone before you embarrass yourself. There are consequences to disrespecting people without knowing who they are." Doug laughed dismissively, clearly underestimating the calm warning, and the surrounding patrons watched, sensing tension but unsure how it would unfold. Marcus reached into his jacket briefly and casually placed a badge and identification on the table, the insignia of the Chief of Police for Charleston, a position he had held for several years after retiring from the military. The shift in energy was instantaneous. Doug's smirk disappeared, replaced by an expression of shock and panic, his eyes wide as the realization hit him. The man he had tried to belittle was not only a veteran, but the highest-ranking officer in the city. The bar fell silent, the murmurs of conversation replaced by stunned disbelief. Marcus's calm, measured posture contrasted sharply with Doug's sudden, flustered demeanor. Marcus remained composed, his authority unquestionable, letting the weight of his accomplishments and position communicate what words could not. Doug's friends exchanged uneasy glances, unsure how to respond, and the lesson was immediate and clear. Arrogance and disrespect are powerless against someone who commands authority, experience, and composure. Marcus returned his badge to his jacket, took a slow sip of his drink, and allowed the silence to linger, reinforcing the undeniable reversal of power. By the end of the evening, Marcus left the bar, the respect of those present evident in nods, murmurs, and sidelong glances. Doug remained seated, frozen, confronted with the consequences of his disrespect, and the sudden realization that assumptions based on appearances are often profoundly mistaken. Marcus walked into the night quietly, his demeanor calm, his authority unshaken, and the lesson left behind for all who had witnessed the encounter. True respect is earned and recognized, and it cannot be mocked away. The morning after the incident at the bar, Marcus Thompson arrived at the Charleston Police Department with the same calm efficiency that had defined his career. His presence immediately commanded respect. Colleagues and staff greeted him with attentive nods, aware not only of his rank, but of the reputation he had built over decades of service and leadership. Despite the lingering tension from the previous evening, Marcus remained composed, reviewing reports, attending briefings, and overseeing departmental initiatives with meticulous precision. The encounter at the bar, though brief, served as a quiet affirmation of how authority and composure could neutralize disrespect without confrontation, a lesson he had long embodied both on the streets and in the office. Throughout the morning, Marcus engaged with his team, addressing administrative matters, operational logistics, and personnel concerns. His tone was calm but firm, each instruction and clarification delivered with clarity that left no room for misinterpretation. The memory of the man at the bar, the smirk, the dismissive laughter, and the abrupt shift to panic lingered not as anger, but as a reminder of the subtle power of presence and reputation. Colleagues who had heard of the incident acknowledged it quietly, some nodding with understanding, others sharing brief remarks on the lesson it conveyed. Authority grounded in experience and professionalism cannot be undermined by arrogance or assumptions. Later in the day, Marcus conducted a series of briefings with officers preparing for upcoming assignments, providing strategic guidance, logistical planning, and tactical advice. Each interaction reinforced his authority, not through intimidation, but through precision, knowledge, and calm composure. Officers responded with attentiveness and respect, aware that leadership is demonstrated through consistent action and clear communication, not words alone. Even casual references to the previous night's encounter served as subtle reminders of the credibility Marcus carried, a credibility that transformed the initial act of disrespect into a lesson in authority and earned respect. By afternoon, Marcus attended a community meeting regarding local safety initiatives. The room was filled with staff, residents, and officials, all attentive to his guidance. He spoke with measured confidence, outlining strategies, reviewing priorities, and providing insights drawn from both military and law enforcement experience. The bar incident, now known through quiet word of mouth, reinforced the perception of his composure under pressure. Residents and colleagues alike observed how a single act of calm authority could command attention and respect, creating trust and credibility without confrontation. As evening approached, Marcus returned to his office to finalize reports and review operational plans for the following day. The streets of Charleston glowed under the fading sunlight, reflecting off polished surfaces and familiar facades. Marcus reflected on the encounter at the bar, recognizing that moments of tension or disrespect are rarely about the individual being mocked, but about assumptions and ignorance. His calm response, reinforced by authority and presence, had turned a potentially volatile situation into a quiet yet undeniable assertion of respect. By the time he left the department, Marcus moved with the same composed confidence he carried every day, fully aware that true authority is demonstrated through consistent professionalism, presence, and action, and that respect once earned cannot be belittled or denied. By midweek, the story of the bar incident had quietly spread through the Charleston community, reaching colleagues, local business owners, and members of the police force alike. Marcus Thompson moved through the city with his usual calm composure, aware that his presence now carried both respect and subtle influence. The encounter had become a quiet testament to the authority earned through years of service, discipline, and leadership, a reminder that appearances and assumptions can often be misleading, and that true respect is rooted in experience, composure, and earned credibility. Marcus did not dwell on the story. He focused on his responsibilities, understanding that his actions, not the gossip, were what reinforced his authority. Throughout the day, Marcus oversaw departmental operations, addressing personnel matters, reviewing incident reports, and providing guidance to officers in the field. Each interaction reflected his years of experience, his disciplined approach to problem solving, and his ability to maintain calm under pressure. Even minor decisions were made with careful thought and precision, reinforcing the perception that his authority was both earned and consistently applied. Colleagues and subordinates who had previously interacted with him on a casual basis now deferred to his judgment, their respect deepened by the knowledge of both his military and law enforcement service. Later in the afternoon, Marcus attended a community outreach meeting at a local veterans center. Residents and staff listened intently as he outlined safety initiatives, mentorship programs, and strategies for engagement with youth and veterans alike. Questions arose regarding logistics, priorities, and community involvement, and Marcus answered each with clarity, calm, and authority. The memory of the man at the bar surfaced briefly, reminding him how perceptions can change in an instant, and how composure and preparedness can transform potential conflict into an opportunity for demonstration of earned respect. His calm yet commanding presence set the tone for the meeting, reinforcing the credibility and leadership he carried in every aspect of his life. By evening, Marcus returned to the precinct, reviewing operational plans and ensuring that the day's tasks were completed efficiently. Officers shared quiet comments about the earlier incident at the bar, acknowledging the lesson in authority it had demonstrated. Marcus remained focused, emphasizing that professionalism, preparedness, and calm composure were the true measures of leadership, and that even small interactions could convey significant lessons about respect, power, and perception. As the city streets darkened under the fading light, Marcus left the precinct with a steady, measured confidence, fully aware that authority and respect are reinforced continuously, not claimed through confrontation, and that the quiet assertion of competence leaves an indelible mark on all who witness it. By the following morning, Marcus Thompson had fully settled into the rhythm of his week, balancing departmental responsibilities with community initiatives. The streets of Charleston were alive with early traffic, sunlight reflecting off shop windows and polished vehicles. Marcus moved through his day with the calm authority that had earned him respect in both military and law enforcement circles. The bar incident, though brief, had become a quiet affirmation of how composure, experience, and presence could neutralize disrespect instantly. He remained focused on strategy, personnel management, and the logistical details of ongoing operations, aware that leadership is demonstrated not through anger or confrontation, but through preparation, calm decisiveness, and consistent performance. Throughout the morning, Marcus held briefings with his senior officers, reviewing patrol schedules, addressing ongoing cases, and coordinating community engagement efforts. His guidance was precise, his instructions clear, and his approach methodical. Officers, some of whom had heard of the bar encounter, observed him closely, noting the same composure and authority that had caused the patron's instant hesitation the night before. His influence extended silently. Without raising his voice or demonstrating overt dominance, Marcus set a standard for professionalism and behavior that shaped the entire department. Later that afternoon, he visited a local community center to check on a mentorship program for young veterans. Parents, volunteers, and staff greeted him with deference and respect, recognizing both his military service and law enforcement leadership. Marcus spoke calmly, providing guidance and strategic advice, addressing questions with clarity and authority. The bar incident was not mentioned aloud, yet its lesson permeated every interaction. Presence, composure, and preparedness command respect, often without a single word of confrontation. Participants watched as Marcus demonstrated calm, decisive leadership, reinforcing the subtle but undeniable influence of experience, combined with measured authority. By evening, Marcus returned to the precinct to review reports, check on assignments, and finalize plans for the following day. The city streets were busy with evening traffic, yet he navigated them with steady focus, maintaining situational awareness and composure. As he reflected on the week, he recognized that the lesson of the bar encounter, that arrogance and disrespect are powerless against calm authority and earned credibility, had reinforced the broader principles of his leadership. Marcus moved with quiet confidence, fully aware that true authority is demonstrated consistently, recognized through action, and impossible to undermine through ignorance or casual disrespect. By midweek, Marcus Thompson's influence had become unmistakable within both the police department and the broader Charleston community. His calm authority and clear communication set the tone for every interaction, whether with colleagues, officers in the field, or community members. The story of the bar incident, quietly circulating among those who had witnessed or heard about it, underscored the respect he commanded and served as a subtle lesson in composure and earned authority. Marcus, however, did not dwell on the event. He focused on his work, ensuring that each decision, briefing, and operational plan was executed with precision and professionalism. Throughout the day, Marcus conducted strategic meetings with senior officers, reviewing patrol reports, upcoming assignments, and operational priorities. His demeanor was calm yet firm, each instruction and suggestion delivered with clarity, ensuring that all parties understood expectations and outcomes. Officers responded with attentiveness, recognizing that Marcus's authority was rooted in decades of experience, discipline, and proven leadership. Casual references to the bar incident circulated in private conversations, highlighting how composure and confidence could instantly neutralize disrespect and establish undeniable credibility. Later in the afternoon, Marcus visited a veterans outreach program, speaking with young participants and staff about leadership, discipline, and the importance of respect. His presence alone commanded attention, and every word reinforced the principles he had demonstrated throughout his career. The bar encounter, though minor in duration, became a quiet reminder to those present of the power of preparation, composure, and authority, demonstrating that influence is often established through action rather than confrontation. Colleagues and participants alike noted his ability to maintain control of situations with calm precision, even in the face of potential provocation. By evening, Marcus returned to the precinct to finalize reports and ensure that daily operations were on track. The city lights reflected off the streets and vehicles as he drove home, reflecting on the lessons of the week. The bar incident, which had once carried potential tension, had become an affirmation of the principles that defined his leadership: calm authority, preparedness, and the quiet power of earned respect. Marcus walked into his home with composure and tact, confident that every action he had taken had reinforced his influence, demonstrated his competence, and left a lasting impression on colleagues, community members, and even those who had once attempted to disrespect him. By the following week, Marcus Thompson's presence and authority had fully settled into the rhythms of both the police department and the Charleston community. His leadership style, calm, composed, and decisively strategic, had reshaped interactions within the precinct and among colleagues. Officers moved with attentiveness and focus, following his guidance not out of fear, but out of respect for his experience, judgment, and professionalism. The bar incident, though brief, had become a quiet emblem of the authority he carried, the ability to assert respect and command attention without aggression, relying instead on reputation, composure, and earned credibility. Throughout the day, Marcus conducted briefings, coordinated assignments, and reviewed operational reports with meticulous precision. His instructions were clear and measured, leaving no ambiguity about expectations or responsibilities. Even minor challenges were addressed with calm authority, reinforcing the lesson that leadership is demonstrated not through loud commands or intimidation, but through consistency, preparedness, and confidence. Officers who had previously underestimated him now deferred to his judgment instinctively, aware that his decisions were grounded in decades of experience and demonstrated competence. Later in the afternoon, Marcus visited a community center to oversee a youth mentorship program. Participants and staff greeted him with deference and attentiveness, recognizing both his military service and his position as chief of police. Questions were met with precise, calm responses, and the participants observed the subtle power of composure under potential pressure. The bar incident had become an unspoken lesson. Assumptions and arrogance are powerless against someone whose authority is earned and consistently demonstrated. Marcus's measured interactions left a clear impression of leadership, integrity, and unwavering professionalism. By evening, Marcus returned to the precinct to finalize operational plans and review daily reports. The city streets glowed under streetlights, and the hum of traffic echoed softly as he reflected on the week's events. The lesson of the bar incident resonated clearly. True authority is recognized and respected not because it is demanded, but because it is earned through action, consistency, and composure. Marcus moved through the evening with quiet assurance, fully aware that respect, once earned, cannot be diminished by ignorance, arrogance, or casual disrespect, and that the influence of calm, competent leadership leaves a lasting impact on everyone who witnesses it. By the end of the week, Marcus Thompson had fully reinforced his authority, both within the Charleston Police Department and in the wider community. His calm, composed demeanor and strategic leadership had shifted perceptions, not only among colleagues and officers, but even among those who had previously underestimated or disrespected him. The story of the bar incident, quietly circulating, highlighted the lesson that arrogance, mockery, or assumptions hold no power against experience, composure, and earned authority. Marcus had demonstrated that true influence comes from consistent action, measured communication, and unwavering professionalism. Throughout the day, Marcus oversaw operational plans, conducted team briefings, and checked in with community programs, maintaining the same composed and authoritative approach that had defined his career. Officers and staff responded with attentiveness and respect, recognizing that his credibility was not derived from intimidation, but from the combination of experience, knowledge, and calm decisiveness. Every instruction, correction, and guidance reinforced the quiet but undeniable authority he carried, establishing a workplace and community culture grounded in respect and professionalism. Linda, Doug, or any others who had tried to mock or belittle him found themselves confronted with the reality of his accomplishments and composure. Even casual bystanders who had observed the bar incident understood its significance. Authority and respect are earned, not assumed, and can manifest instantly through calm, confident action. Marcus's presence, both commanding and approachable, reinforced the principles of leadership he had always embodied: integrity, composure, competence, and decisive action. As evening fell over Charleston, Marcus returned home, reflecting on the week's events. The brief encounter at the bar had become a symbol of the quiet power of earned authority, demonstrating that respect, once established through consistent professionalism and composure, cannot be diminished by ignorance or disrespect. Marcus moved with calm assurance, fully aware that his actions had left an indelible mark on everyone who had witnessed them, proving that true leadership is measured not in words or confrontation, but in the unwavering demonstration of skill, discipline, and authority. The lesson was complete, silent, and undeniable. Respect, once earned, is enduring,